Every single secure transaction, every wire transfer, every automated payment processed by global banking relies on a piece of software maintained by just one person. One developer sitting in a quiet office thousands of miles from Wall Street or the City of London, holding the digital keys to the entire financial world, and almost nobody even knew their name. You are about to understand the precise, hidden mechanism by which the most critical financial infrastructure on Earth teeters on the edge, sustained by a fragile web of unpaid labor and anonymous trust, a system so precarious it could collapse from a single point of failure. For decades, the banking world, once a fortress of proprietary, closed-source technology, began a quiet, almost imperceptible shift. Starting in the late 1990s and accelerating into the 2000s, financial institutions, driven by the relentless pursuit of efficiency and cost reduction, started integrating what seemed like innocuous open-source components. Think about it. Why pay a team of engineers to build a cryptographic hashing algorithm when one already exists, rigorously tested, peer-reviewed, and available for free? So, they adopted them. Libraries like libsecure-hash, a fictional but representative example, became the bedrock for everything from verifying digital signatures on stock trades to encrypting sensitive customer data passing between bank servers. These weren't peripheral tools, they were the digital concrete and rebar holding up the entire architecture of global finance. The story really begins with a person named Alex. Alex, like many open-source developers, started contributing to libsecure-hash purely out of passion. Back in 2003, when the project was just a nascent idea, Alex saw a problem. Secure hashing algorithms were either proprietary and expensive or poorly documented and unreliable. Alex, then a graduate student, decided to fix it. Over the next 2 decades, Alex dedicated thousands upon thousands of hours, meticulously writing code, squashing bugs, and reviewing contributions from a small, ever-changing group of volunteers. The library grew, becoming incredibly robust and widely adopted. Soon, every major financial institution, from JP Morgan Chase to HSBC, from the European Central Bank to the Bank of Japan, implicitly relied on libsecure-hash for aspects of their core operations. Its stable, battle-tested nature made it an industry standard, baked into countless payment processors, trading platforms, and compliance systems. The sheer volume of data secured by this one library was staggering. Trillions of dollars in transactions across 201 countries every single day. But here's the stark reality. Alex was essentially a volunteer. For years, Alex juggled this immense responsibility with a full-time job at a small software firm, often working late into the night, sacrificing weekends and holidays. The project had a Patreon account, but it generated only a few $100s a month, barely enough to cover hosting costs, let alone a living wage. The financial giants, the ones whose very existence depended on Alex's meticulous work, contributed precisely nothing to its upkeep. They simply consumed. They built their multi-billion-dollar empires on a foundation of free, high-quality, community-maintained code, accepting the implicit, profound risk that came with that model. Now, imagine the unthinkable. In 2019, Alex, overwhelmed by the constant demands, the crushing pressure of maintaining such a critical piece of infrastructure, and battling a severe personal burnout, decided to step away, not maliciously, not angrily, but simply because the burden had become unbearable. Alex announced a departure from the project, stating a need for a complete break from coding. A pause. Can you really fault them? The announcement rippled through the niche open-source community like a small tremor, but outside that bubble, it went completely unnoticed. Not a single executive at any of the major banks, not a single regulator, had any idea of the impending crisis. The codebase, upon which so much rested, had not had a significant new maintainer added in over 5 years. The few existing contributors were primarily junior developers with limited experience in the system's core architecture. The crucial updates, security patches, and forward-looking enhancements, the very things that kept the library secure against emerging threats, would simply stop. The equivalent of a central pillar in a skyscraper suddenly being abandoned, with no one to inspect its integrity. This is the peak revelation. the mechanism that fundamentally alters your understanding of global finance. Before Alex's departure, you might have imagined global banking as a fortress, layers of corporate governance, dedicated security teams, and robust budgets protecting every angle. You would have pictured thousands of well-paid engineers at each bank, constantly monitoring every line of code. But what the libsecure hash story unveils is a far more terrifying reality. It reveals a hidden software supply chain that is fundamentally fragile. Before, you believed financial institutions controlled their destiny. Now, you understand that they outsource their core security, their very ability to function, to an invisible army of volunteers, often without their knowledge, and certainly without their financial support. This isn't just about a single developer. It's about a systemic dependence that permeates nearly every modern technological endeavor, especially those that touch critical infrastructure. The financial sector, which demands absolute trust and reliability, built its gilded cages on foundations laid by unsung heroes whose continued commitment was never guaranteed. This changes everything about how you perceive the stability of the global financial system. The sophisticated cybersecurity departments of major banks, with their hundreds of employees and multi-million-dollar budgets, are effectively monitoring the windows and doors, while the literal concrete supports of their building are managed by a single individual with no formal contract. If a zero-day vulnerability had been discovered in libsecure hash after Alex had stepped away, and believe me, such vulnerabilities are discovered constantly in other critical open-source projects, there would have been no one with the institutional knowledge or dedicated bandwidth to address it quickly. Every single financial transaction relying on that library would have become compromised, every payment system vulnerable to manipulation, every encrypted message an open book. We are talking about the potential for complete financial chaos, a systemic breakdown that would make the 2008 crisis look like a minor inconvenience. So, what does this reveal about how the tech industry operates as a system? Firstly, it exposes the sheer scale of unacknowledged labor that underpins modern technology. Companies, particularly in finance, have perfected the art of riding on the backs of open-source projects without reciprocating. They extract immense value without contributing back to the ecosystem that sustains them. This isn't just a cost-saving measure, it's a form of systemic exploitation where critical digital public goods are treated as free commodities, not vital infrastructure needing investment. You should now read every quarterly earnings report from a tech giant or a major bank with this in mind, recognizing the hidden subsidies built into their profit margins. Secondly, this situation highlights the profound lack of transparency in the software supply chain. Banks and other corporations often have little to no visibility into the thousands of dependencies that form their core systems. They might vet their immediate vendors, but those vendors, in turn, rely on other software, which relies on other open-source libraries, creating a dizzying, fractal chain of trust. This means that a vulnerability introduced by a single, overwhelmed developer in a small, obscure project could, theoretically, compromise the security of billions of people. When you hear about a major data breach, consider not just the company that was hacked, but the underlying layers of software that might have been the actual point of entry. Thirdly, this entire scenario underscores a dangerous disconnect between economic value and actual contribution. Alex, the maintainer of libsecure hash, was indispensable to an industry worth trillions of dollars, yet received negligible financial support. Meanwhile, high-flying executives at these very same institutions earn tens of millions. This skewed value system creates perverse incentives where the people doing the most critical, foundational work are often the least recognized and compensated, leaving the entire system vulnerable to their inevitable burnout or disinterest. You should question every innovation story, asking who truly builds the foundation for it and what price is being paid, unseen, by those whose labor is taken for granted. This goes far beyond just the tech industry or even global banking. This is a profound statement on the illusion of control in our interconnected world. We've built complex, globally integrated systems that give the appearance of robust security and impenetrable power, but underneath, they are often incredibly fragile, resting on the goodwill and sacrifice of a few individuals. It's a stark reminder that the critical infrastructure of our civilization, be it financial, medical, or governmental, is not always backed by the secure, well-funded foundations we assume. It reveals how the very foundations of economic power and societal trust can be undermined not by malicious actors or grand corporate conspiracies, but by simple, unaddressed human fatigue. It's a testament to the profound, almost sacred trust we place in a digital world whose underpinnings we barely understand. The story of LibSecure Hash is a stark warning. The next time a seemingly minor technical glitch makes headlines, remember that it could be the first tremor of a much larger, unseen structural flaw. The question isn't if another Alex will almost bring down the system, but when. We will continue to pull back the curtain on the hidden mechanics of power and technology. There are countless other vulnerabilities, countless other stories of unnoticed fragility, waiting to be revealed. Join us as we uncover them.